From So Strict Studios in the city of Merribeck, Many Faces, One Merribeck, Hot Whoppers Appreciation Society proudly presents Salty and the Champ. Featuring Ned Saltman Chobson and Dave the People's Champ Erickson. Me, I am the announcer of the podcast, Miguel Gonzalez. Thank you for listening today. Now, over to you, Salty and the Champ.
We're back. We're back again.
We are.
For our second of however many. Now that we've sort of warmed up a bit, in case you can't tell, this is the same recording as the first one. I think your sound's just cut out though, but that's okay. I'll put it over. I'll put it over in post. Yeah, we're rolling. But my plan is for this now. What the Whoppers are now hearing and seeing was recorded at the same time, but is now coming out a week later. Than what they've been left with.
Yeah, we've just got too much to cover to do it in a single episode.
The agenda is it's manifesting into different states, adding to it, and getting good use out of it. And we left off last week. We thought actually we'll recap last week's episode, which for us was a few moments ago.
Yeah,
but the magic of editing and all that stuff and delaying the publishing again last week's episode talked about our sort of 15-20 year history of our clubs or the recent history of our clubs and our respective clubs.
Some clubs more successful than others.
Hawthorn and Essendon, the champ, and actually by the way I forgot to do the stings. The audio is still going. I'll just turn that down. We're bringing the stings up. That's me, Ned the Saltman Jobson, and of course we've got the People's Champ. The People's Champ. You stole that off Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock.
Not to be confused with the Corporate Champ, which was in his heel era
when he was aligned with Vince McMahon.
Yes.
And the rest of the corporation.
Yeah.
I reckon that's the Attitude Era is another item on the agenda we can add. In a future episode.
Yeah.
We'll definitely come back to that one.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so talked a little bit about the 2010s experience as an Essendon supporter, the 2010s experience as a Hawthorn supporter, vastly different. The 2020s, a point of divergence, I would think, as we approach the mid 2020s. We're on the up, it looks like, and Hawthorn, maybe in a rebuild, might be getting a bit of form together. Again, you wouldn't know because you don't sort of like footy anymore, basically.
Been rebuilding for 8-9 years now, and the last couple of months they've looked like they're getting a little bit better, but maybe. Could be an illusion. We've seen that happen to Essendon dozens of times over that period. Yeah.
Lots of false dawns. You can't argue against that. No. That's the thing. You follow different clubs, you get different experiences. It's not a predetermined outcome. It's not like we share the Premiership Cup around it. Each club gets one every 18 years. I don't think anyone would want to watch.
That would defeat the purpose of playing.
It's not really a competition, is it?
Yeah.
It's just pass the parcel. It's not
just like participation awards.
Yeah. And we'll talk about woke one day. We'll come back to wokeisms. So I'll probably establish myself as the more woke of the two of us, and you'll be the anti-woke.
I don't think not so much anti-woke. I'm like a realist. Like there's a bit of woke tosh out there.
Ben Shapiro type.
Pardon?
A Ben Shapiro type.
I'm not across his material.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll
is he a bit of a douchebag or?
We'll see. I think actually something on the Photoshop recap might enlighten us there.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
we'll segue into that.
Yeah, should we get into that?
We'll get into that. So, if you want to entertain us on your screen for a moment, Dave, because I have to tee up the. I've just got it as a PDF, but what I'll do is
got little termy here.
You can play with that. Yep, play with that. Little Dermy Brereton.
It's a good sort of reminds me of Dermy. Because in the 80
tough guy
'89 grand final. He
the famous one.
Yeah.
Punched in the
middle.
Punctured a lung, ruptured a kidney, four broken ribs.
Petrarca style.
Yeah. Except he got up and kicked a bunch of goals and helped us win the flag.
Wow.
Another one.
And that's why you love that club so dearly. Oh wait, no, you've given up on them, which is not unexpected. Now, is this? Hang on, I think I've still got your. Sorry, Dave. I think I've still got your.
Another famous story about Dermy is at his peak in the '80s. He was riding around on a Harley. And he rode it up to the front of Metro nightclub, rode it in past the bouncers, parked it inside next to the bar, and sat in there and drank for the night. Then rode it home.
I think there's another classic character from back then that's coming up again in the Photoshop recap. So I have got that on screen now, and as soon as I transition to the share screen, you should be able to see it, Dave.
Sure.
And there we go. So we're starting with our old mate, Ed Trella.
Yeah.
This one just stood out for me. I'm not sure. It's not a Photoshop job.
Sure. More of a meme.
It does look like more of a meme. Well, I think this is one that Tom really likes. I think this is the one that him and his sister used to sort of prank each other with. They would put it on each other's doors. Like this back obviously when they were, still living with their folks and stuff. As a little surprise for the other to encounter.
Sure.
And looking back on it now, it looks like, early days Jeff Bezos sort of like, this company started in this garage kind of deal.
Yeah. Is that like a Star Wars font?
It does look, I think it is. Yeah, it does look like Star Wars. I don't know who did someone reach out actually on the in the audience there. If you're responsible for this particular text caption, reach out because I don't know what Release the Boundaries is all about.
Yeah,
I love the photo and that's why I included
it.
Great, yeah. So shout out to Ed Trella if you're listening. Big shout out to you. So the first Whopper who was visually dropped on the pod.
An OG.
We've talked about many of them. So moving on to there he is.
I remember this one.
Do you remember who did this one? Looks like Tom's work.
Yeah, it looks like
I would have guessed Tom.
Yeah.
Not mention peptides or draw 25. So as you can see, format of the meme is drawn 25 because you can't help but bloody do it.
I mean, also it's inaccurate. I wouldn't be drinking Sprite.
True. That's it should be a Coke Zero.
Yeah.
If I had a bit more time, a bit more care, I would have done a good Photoshop job on that. Continue to do a Photoshop job.
I would definitely draw 25 though.
Good use of that one. You see that one? Yeah, that's probably that's going back a few years now, but that's a good format. That. And there is another one of you, but with Haim. This is going back a little bit now. The last time I cried.
Yeah. Oh God. Makes me sick.
This is probably where I would align with your views on modern day AFL.
Yeah.
This contrived, the goal of it, which I think is, all about mental, all power to them and stuff, obviously. That's a noble endeavor, but like the way they go about some of this
it's bullshit, right? It's just AFL wankery. Like they go on about that, they'll have like, acknowledgements to the game about like domestic violence and then platform pieces of shit like Wayne Carey. Yeah. Right. Like it's
all pretty contrived.
Shit.
And
And who we got in the background there? We got Jar Jar Binks to my left, and who's on my right?
This is a bit of a who's who on some of our jobs before. Husa, who's coming up, and that's Shorten, who'll feature in a little bit.
Right.
This one going forward now. Do you know what's all about this one? Dave?
Are their faces swapped?
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's a pretty, like if I do say so myself, kind of good little face swap. But yeah, you kind of forget. Hang on, like if after you look at it for a little while, who are these bozos?
They shit me, these guys. It's like the epitome of like fucking blokey yobbo triple M.
JB and what I find fascinating is Billy Brownless's nickname just being Fat. Like,
is it?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's just Fat. They just call him Fat.
Yeah,
like I'm sure like that does a number on him, like
Yeah.
that he doesn't sort of vocalize.
Yeah.
That he probably should.
Yeah. He goes home and cries.
Poor fucking guy.
Yeah.
Like anyway, but those they really are bozos.
I mean, if they were funny, they call him Skinny, right? Like you know how like they used to call like redheads Bluey.
Bluey.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, JB as well. Like he's a twerp.
Yeah.
Really can't stand.
He's a disease. Like he's even spread into like cricket commentary on Channel 7.
Well, he's from cricket. He's
he was a
cricket.
first class player for South Australia, and he was a
So-
decent cricketer, but he's a terrible commentator, and he should not commentate cricket.
And he was a president of I think maybe this guy's club.
Yeah,
That's do you know? Did you remember that one? Do you remember that one?
no,
That one is that's, as you can see, that looks like me.
it sort of does.
You
I
don't- you
mean,
don't
because they
think-
got a beard and glasses, but
Well, I think that's
I mean, not that
pretty
you even
strong.
have a beard.
Pretty
Like,
strong.
it's-
I
yeah.
think it is me actually,
Is it?
because I did go for North for a little while, a few years.
That's not you.
Well, if I can convince you, or if I can almost sell that it is, then it must look a little bit like me. No, that's not me, but it is a guy that looks like me who goes for the Kangas.
Right.
And again, if this is your work, drop a line to us. We should get a Gmail account going.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
people can send stuff to us.
And last time we talked about nuffies,
Yeah.
right? Now,
Well, this is
if
an
you go out in
example right
public
here.
looking like that, carrying a flag, I think you qualify as a nuffie,
Well,
right?
I think this guy's a proud nuffy.
But it's not even like an interesting nuffie, right? Like you know, a bulby duffel coat, right? This is
Sure.
just like this looks like is that probably like vinyl sleeves or something like those old sweat hog jackets?
Yeah, it's a baseball jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, actually,
Yeah.
no, it's a hoodie.
It's a hoodie.
It's a
yeah.
hoodie.
But it's just like, you know, you step out in public like that, where's your dignity?
You know, like that's okay. Like whatever gives him joy.
Sure,
But,
yeah.
Oh well, he goes for North, so he's not getting much.
He's
joy
not
out of
getting
that. So-
no. He's getting absolute zero.
But yeah, whoever recognised that, yeah, that looks a little bit like Ned the Salt Man Jobson.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, you're coming back here, Dave. This bad boy can fit so much salt in itself.
It's not bad.
That might be a bit of Sam Harvey's work, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like a hobby. Yeah.
Do you like his work? He does some pretty funny stuff.
Yeah. Even like non-footy stuff. He's done some remarkable Simpsons memes, like
Yes.
especially in the cricket space.
Yes.
And like he'll put them on the cricket-related Simpsons meme page, and they'll
He's
get
been
like,
published.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He'll
yeah.
get bulk likes.
I've been published to be honest.
Have you? Yeah.
It's a good accomplishment. You feel
Yeah.
pretty bloody good about yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just drop that, but you know, the topic came up, so
Yeah.
but it's a good achievement getting published. And
Yeah.
Sam,
He's
congratulations
very quick.
to you.
Very quick.
Quick-witted guy.
Yeah.
Quick-witted
Dry.
guy.
Yeah.
Great sense of humor.
Yeah.
Funny having said all this stuff, it'd be very funny if it was someone else's work. But no, this looks like Sam's stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty good use of the format.
Yep.
You don't see that very often these days, but
It's a more recent picture of me as well. That's
Yeah.
it looks like around 2023.
well, I think we
Yeah.
have. It might be next. No, it's not quite next. It'll come up though. Here is
It's Bill Shorten's head with
yes.
I can't pick the face.
It is. Well, the face is,
Or is it
Bill
face is Shorten
Yeah,
and the body's someone else?
Yeah.
Or then the
It's
head,
pretty generic.
yeah.
No, you probably
Right.
can't get that.
Okay, yeah.
It's Shorten Quarters.
I was almost going to say Quartermain.
Yeah. Stephen Quartermain. Shorten Quarters there. Name from. Well, do you remember the origin? I know the origin. I'm just trying to remember if you remember it.
No.
It was from 2020.
Yep.
COVID affected year where they had to shorten the quarters.
Yeah.
So shorten quarters became a very
that's right.
a very
Yep.
common thing to
Yep.
say,
Yep.
and thus was born shortened quarters. And also a different iteration of shortened quarters was this one.
Short quarters.
Short quarters.
Yeah.
Just regular old Quartermain, but
With
squashed. The same
Is
size.
that Subway being added in due to Subway chats in the Whoppers, or is this just like a convenient coincidence?
I think it's a convenient coincidence
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
believe that's Vern Troyer
Yep.
From Austin
Dead now,
Powers,
isn't he?
I believe.
Yeah. R.I.P.
And with Stephen Quartermain's
Yep.
head. So that's a pretty good one. And then finishing. I thought there was some other ones though. Perhaps I didn't include them, but this is Husa, which is of course from it is Jar Jar Binks from episode 1.
Yeah.
Phantom Menace. And it's because of the common typo of Woosha, our old coach.
Right. Yeah.
So instead of Woosha, we kept saying Husa. And I think it was Bolby's. Often often
I don't mind that.
Typo.
Bit niche.
And this one's from a press conference. I think, I'm not sure who is under that Husa.
Might have been resigning.
Someone resigning. That's old mate. Xavier next to him.
Yep.
Last name? What's his last name? I can't remember
Campbell?
his last name. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. But yeah, Husa there. I can't remember who did that. I think that might be Tom, the first person to make Husa. I might take credit for that. Maybe.
Yep.
Possibly. Although, yeah, not 100%. But a lot of this stuff I think was Tom and Sam's stuff.
Well, if they want to challenge you, bad luck at your own podcast.
Exactly. Take the initiative.
Yeah.
Take the damn initiative to do it. And that is the end. But I had some other ones. I thought there were some other ones there.
Well, we can perhaps, bring
Going
those back in the future. Yeah.
There was the origin of this photo here. I must have seen it and then not added it to this little bunch.
Yeah.
But that, I believe, we'll leave it for another episode. We'll come back to the origin.
And if anyone's got any other old ones they'd like us to go through, shoot them off to Ned.
That's a good idea.
We'll bring them up again in the future.
Bring them, of course, and we will make I reckon I'm safe to say that saltyandthechamp@gmail.com is probably available. So let's just say that is our address. saltyandthechamp@gmail.com. If it's taken, I'll send it. Just send that anyway. Just
send them a cease and desist.
Exactly. Send a cease and desist, and we will try and get that address for ourselves. But I reckon that's got to be ours. Sure. Good react. So coming back, I'll come back to my screen here, and I'll just get us back on track now. That was about 10 of just an uncountable amount, really. Yeah. Of photoshops that have gone on in Whoppers over the last 5 to 10 years, however long it's been going on. Might just switch to you, Champ, and what is it that you like in a Photoshop job? Because you can laugh at yourself. You do react positively to those.
Well, there are a lot of good ones of me. Yeah.
What qualifies do you think?
It's good when they're sort of, I guess, Bombray related or related to my bagging on the Bombray. So references to salt, things like that. I've been thrown into a few Simpsons ones. I love the Simpsons, so I always like getting included in there.
Yep.
I just like
try to pretend to be part of.
Yeah. I like the creativity of them. I'm not creative enough to come up with a lot of those things.
Oh well, yeah, it's it does require a degree of creativity. And like this, it's just fun to muck around.
Yeah, and I can't work at Photoshop either, so
that's a shame.
Yeah,
you don't. Yeah, like speak to Tom or Sam about the non-Photoshop options because there are quite a few.
Yeah, I've heard people use Snapchat and stuff like that, and I'm too old to learn that stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm the same because I know Photoshop. I'm like, I can't be bothered learning anything else. So I'll just go to that. But that's only on. Got to be at a desk. I can't be doing that on my phone. So these other guys, these other players, they're a bit more versatile in that space. But that's all good. Yeah, competition's fun.
Yeah.
But hey, no competition tonight. We're hoping everybody enjoys. We don't have any other competing podcasts on the Whoppers Waves.
No.
But this might inspire a few others to get started.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Have a crack.
All right. So just looking at the agenda again. last week we talked a little bit about, brushed on toxicity. And that is something that, I mean, to a degree is funny. But it's also no laughing matter when it does turn, really bad. We'll try not to sort of, talk about the real toxic stuff, but I think reactions to a club, historically successful club like the Bombers, can generate some toxic reactions. We've talked about some internal toxicity, but and we can, and we probably will come back to that. But talking about probably a primary example of toxicity directed inward at us is the number of days since Essendon won a final Facebook page. And that's a favorite one of yours. You love it. You love it.
I love that page.
Giggling at it. So, all right, maybe we should start with a glowing interpretation of it, or a glowing kind of appraisal of that page from your perspective, because you do like it. Then I'll come back with some rebuttal. But
I love it. I just think it's brilliant. I mean, I had a look at it today just in preparation for this discussion, and scrolled through it and found a post of the creator who said he made it in 2018 as a piss take and it took off, and he can't believe it's still going. So it's like nearly 6 years it's been going now. It's actually 7,234 today. Not that anyone's counting. Other than someone
will probably make a page named "Number of Days Since the Number of Days" page was created. Yeah, that's probably getting into the 2000s, 3000s.
Yeah,
hilarious. Well, and you do like you're a pretty loyal follower of that one, because I on the rare occasions I do go back on Facebook, I see every now and then a like from you has popped up on one of their updates.
Yeah.
And they don't have to do much to get it.
No, they don't have to do anything. I like every single post. I remember ages ago I got like a notification on Facebook that says you've got a badge as like one of the number one supporters of this page. Pathetic. So I screenshot that and shared it with everyone and got like a lot of abuse from Essendon supporters.
He's proud of that.
Yeah.
That's pathetic behavior.
Well, I just find it funny that the page was made and like it's still going now.
It's I think you said it was 2018 that it was started.
Yeah.
So I remember the first round of 2019, I'll never forget it because it was so horrific. And Tilds and Tom, shout out to my fellow veterans from that experience. A slogging by GWS in Sydney on a very humid day. Anyway, that was the start of 2019, and I remember very vividly.
Did you guys go up for the game?
Yeah, we went up for the game. It was a very, very poor experience. At that time, being so sick of that page, I'm like, I think I said to them, like, if that page is still up at the end of this year, do that one. Shouldn't joke about that, but that's the joke that I made at the time. So that's only after 1 year of operation. So now it's been 5 years, 6 years since that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And it is still going. And we've had 2 opportunities to shut it down since then. We qualified in 2019 and 21 for the finals and lost obviously both of them. And probably making them this year, would you say? Do you know, first of all, do you know what position we're on?
Are you like 4th?
Actually, maybe, well, while you, while our camera is on you, I'll just get the ladder up.
Yeah, I know. Look, it'd be pretty hard to see you to see you not make the finals, right? Like I don't, as we discussed, I don't follow the game much now, but I'm aware of roughly. I know Carlton's second because I was just in the UK. One of my good mates who I was staying with over there is a mad Carlton supporter, and he won't shut up because he thinks Carlton's going to win the flag. And I know the Bombrays from the chat have been quite vocal about the fact that you may have a double chance this year. But I mean, I'd like to say I can't see you making the top 4, but to be honest, I don't know who you've still got to play and what your season looks like. But I would, it would be really funny for me if you did get a double chance and still went out straight sets.
Well, we've got I can maybe on the same page. we go. Sweet, there we are. I can perhaps go and see what our run home looks like, but that's the ladder right now, and so we're at 3 right now. So
pretty weak percentage.
Very weak percentage. But there we are with 38 points. So a pretty strong kind of cluster here of big clubs in the top 4.
Like you'd have to go on a big losing streak. You could miss the 8. It'd be
I don't think we're going to miss. Yeah, it'd be pretty horrific bed shitting if we were to miss it from here. It might be almost. I don't think we're close enough yet to say it's impossible, but it's probably coming up. If we get another win or 2 in the next round or 2, it might be sort of at the point where it's like getting towards 9 wins. So I think like 12. Or 13 is sort of like enough these days.
How many rounds in the season these days? 24?
24 rounds this year. So I think we got 9 rounds to go. So there's Hawthorn there at 13. Just making sure we can see all that. Yes, hopefully. Hawthorn. I can zoom in there as well. So
we've had half our games. I'm pretty happy with that.
You've actually had a pretty decent sort of turnaround of late at 7-7 there. But talking about the run home, let's just have a look at it.
I'd love if we snuck into 8th and you guys ended up 5th because would we play each other?
5th and 8th would play in the finals. So
that would be good.
That would it could happen, but
we could bundle you out, and then like I can perhaps hire someone to make a bunch of photoshops of me like lording it over.
I think
various other Photoshop people.
Sure, you could do that. Yeah. That'd definitely be an occasion for another podcast, another recording. If we do play Hawthorn in a final, so it looks like we'll play finals. If, and it's a huge if, Hawthorn managed to get in, we would have to go to bottom of the 8, so 5 to 8 to play them, which could happen, maybe will happen. But that'd certainly be an occasion to do another podcast, maybe a live watching. That'd be pretty cool. But we've got, so there's bloody 2 dickheads right there. We can talk about them a little bit if you want. Corns and Nathan Brown.
Yeah.
But we've got the Cats this Saturday, which is a real test. The probably the most significant test since we've sort of established or since it looks like we've established ourselves as a top 4 side. This is the one to really prove it.
Are they even in the 8?
Huh?
Are they even in the 8?
The Cats?
Yeah.
They're 6th at the moment.
Okay.
Or 5th. They're all right. Like they're Geelong, for Christ's sake. They are historically talking about Essendon and Hawthorn's time. Geelong are just as good. Maybe not numbers wise.
They go 7th. They're 7th.
They're 7th.
Yep.
From 7, so 7, 9, 11, and then they won again in 2022.
Yep.
So they've also got 4. So 4. So they're like you would say in the 21st century, Geelong and Hawthorn share, I would say, equal statuses.
Yep.
The dominant club, but Hawthorn slightly less, Geelong slightly more, because Hawthorn have had periods of real bottoming out in that time. Geelong have never bottomed out in 25 years.
Yeah.
They've been consistently finals contenders, and they're in September. They're in the grand final. They're in September.
Yeah.
For a whole generation.
Yeah.
It's so fucking frustrating these days. I'm really sick of that. Really, really waiting for that to come to an end. So it would be very delicious to beat them on Saturday night. And if that happens, then I would say we've got a good chance of being top 4 in September.
Yeah.
Which would be fucking double chance. So we don't just like this last 15 years of qualifying, bundling out. This is like, qualifying for a double chance.
And double the misery, perhaps.
If that happens, again, we'll have to do another podcast because, unless I'm fucking comatose from not like gelling with that experience. But Geelong coming up. Hawthorn, they have got, this is maybe another thing we can do on each pod. We'll just have a look at the week ahead and who our respective clubs have got coming up that week. Where are we? Sunday the 30th of June. West Coast. Oh, we just had them.
Over there. No, we'd probably lose that.
Yeah, you might. Harley Reid is back. The young gun who was rising star bound until he got suspended.
Right.
Do you know anything about him?
Not really.
Nah. A very,
I take
very
it he's
big.
good.
Oh, he's good, boy. A very, very big name in the West now. Imagine like number one by a mile, draft pick that is, in a town like Perth,
like a Chris Judd kind of thing.
Every time I have a sip, I feel like awkward Marco Rubio. If you remember that, that's a
Isn't he a Republican governor?
yeah, Republican something or other. But and then also the Trump one where he had the weird grab. I'll try and make my sips not super awkward.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you could win that. But yeah, Hawks, Eagles. Yeah, I gave up on tipping because I sucked this year really badly. Gave up very, very early. So I'd tip Eagles if that was if I was still going. They haven't updated the colors. Have you noticed the colors on the graphic here don't match up to the colors of the actual current logo?
Oh yeah.
Same thing for the Hawthorn one as well, which is probably fine. But that's something
that's like standard for the AFL though, isn't it? Like we've all seen some of the graphic design work coming out of various football clubs, and the AFL app itself is a piece of shit. So I'm not surprised their website's a bit poor. Yeah,
no, that's fair enough. And that's the Google results anyway for when you type in AFL ladder. But I'll just bring it back now to we're on. Sorry, pardon me. Just making sure we can see everything, and we can. There we go. So yeah, the number of days page, it's up at around 7,000 something now.
7234. Yep.
7234. You've obviously
as of the day of filming.
Homepage probably
as of the day of filming. Yeah.
As of the day of filming. So yeah, that'll be up at around. It's start at the end of June now. 3 months until we get into finals. 2 months until we get into finals. So yeah, add another 60 days, and it could be the end of that page. Do you reckon it's? There'll be. I want you to kind of come at this from as unbiased a sort of mindset as you can possibly put yourself in. When the day comes when Essendon win a final, and the moderator, the owner, the publisher of that page has to make a decision. What's the status that they publish? What would you do in that situation if that was you?
I don't know. I'd say, look, it's been a great ride. Thanks everybody for the millions upon millions of likes and shares over the many years since the page has been created. Maybe I'd perhaps run through a list of Bombers who have won finals at other clubs during that 20 years.
Short list, but yeah.
Well, it's decent actually. I can go through some of them if you like.
Okay, well, maybe another time. All right, fair enough.
But yeah, I think they would just close it and say, so long, thanks for all the fish.
I don't think the guy has the good grace or the character to do something kind of classy, which would be something like that. I think, Dave, I would say that if it was you probably would have the character to do something classy in a way to sort of end it. But I reckon it's just going to go like radio silence. It'll be like the nuclear bomb dropped on.
No, I don't think so. No, he'll do like a sign off. I'm assuming it's a he.
Probably some sort of sign off, but that's probably what he'll want to do.
Yeah,
he'll want to just give up. He'll want to crawl back under his bed,
probably sick of running it. I could have been bothered maintaining a page for 6 years.
Probably, actually, yeah. He probably didn't know what kind of rigorous,
long commitment he was getting himself into.
Rigorous job it would be adding a number to his status update every day. Poor baby. It's probably
he doesn't even. They don't even post every day. It's like once every few weeks.
Loser really can't even be bothered committing to the bit. Just if you're in it, just like if you're in
you're
it,
still upset about
just
that
go
page,
for
aren't
it.
you? After all these years, you're still upset about it.
I would prefer it to be not active, sure. But look, I think it's the great thing about going for a historically successful club, because you can just point to the trophy cabinet, and I should put a green screen behind me so I can have
I mean, half of which you won when there was like 6 teams in the league.
Still, I think you could make the argument that they were harder fought ones.
Could you? How?
Maybe I'll say maybe you could. I could look into it and perhaps put an argument together. But yeah, that's the thing. You can just point to the 16 cups in the cabinet when anyone gives you a bit of stick as an Essendon supporter and say, "Look at that, mate."
It's a weak retort.
Well, it is a retort though, isn't it? Because you can give it to Saints. You can give it to the Doggies. You can give it to these other. You can give it to North Melbourne. We were talking about before, and they don't have the same sort of silverware. Which is what it's all about. You're there for the premierships.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
They stack up and they add up, and so you base your success on number of premierships. And if you've got the most number of premierships, then you are the most successful club. And
you can base your failure on the number of days since you have won one of the premierships or even a final.
Lots of clubs go long times without premierships. Not many clubs go, and I will say this, not many clubs go the length of time that perhaps a club like Essendon has gone without a single finals win. So it is a little bit out of the ordinary, but that's life, and we roll with those punches. Willow's come to say hello. And then we've got Bobby on the couch back there. I'm not sure if you can see, just out of frame. But those dogs are coming in to hang out. So yeah, that page, it does get up my ass a little bit. But look, fair enough. All power to them, whoever it is that runs it. I would assume that if they were to make themselves known, if you happen to cross paths, you'd probably buy them a drink for all the laughs.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of course. I'd probably spike their drink as a bartender if I knew about it. I'd pop something in there. No, I wouldn't actually do that. The dogs are coming up. I'm hoping they don't unplug anything, but lively. Maybe we're interesting them with some more lively conversation now. So that's good. So it is 7,000 something days. So we're going back to 2004 is the last time. Now, if we fast forward after 2004, 2012, the infamous year. So I'm segueing now into the supplement saga, which I think people have been waiting for us to get into. And we're coming up
I mean, I think it's a drug saga, but you can go with supplement. Sure.
Lots of people.
The saga, let's call it the saga.
The saga.
Be agnostic about the materials used.
That's true. So I just noticed it's been on my camera for quite a while, so I'll just bring it back to that. Perhaps what we can do, because just looking at the length of this current recording, which I guess is the current episode, we might have a quick kind of like a preview of maybe what bullet points we might discuss vis-a-vis the saga.
Sure.
And then in the next episode, we'll actually get into it.
Yeah.
All right. So I think, we'll recap. I've had a little bit of again, shouting out to, gave him a shout out in the first episode. Shout out to Jagger Skillbeck. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Maybe Jaeger Skillbeck. Good channel on YouTube. Does some good AFL modern history videos. Had a look at the couple that did on the saga to recap some of the info. But I think most of it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember all this. Yeah, because it was so drilled in. It was just such a huge event, such a big news story. Yeah, that it was just it
was everywhere for a long time.
It was. Yeah. Like the reporters out the front of poor James Hurd's Toorak villa. Camped out there, no rest. But anyway, so the saga, we'll get into that. Did you want to? What do you sort of want to remark on as a sort of a prelude?
I mean, where does it rank in terms of other scandals in Australian sports?
You got to say it pretty high.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you got to say pretty high.
Yep. The reaction of Essendon supporters, both at the time and long term, some of their attitudes towards it now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, maybe how it's contributed to the increased toxicity of Bombray supporters.
The cultural implications.
Yeah.
Of the saga.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Those are some good topics. We'll get into it.
What about you? What do you want to discuss on that?
Well, yeah, I think adding on that, talking about, I think a word that was thrown around a little bit at the time, but I think quite remarkable is galvanization, and the concept of galvanization and how a club was galvanized in those years. That's probably what I would remark on the most. But yeah, just to sort of a dive into it. We're not going to uncover anything. We're not lawyers here. We're not going to, I don't think anyway, win anyone's minds over.
No, it's been done to death.
Pretty much, made up on that. But perhaps we will just sort of plead our respective cases a little bit.
Yeah.
Open those old wounds. And just sort of see how they're healing up. Because yeah, some things are worth revisiting if you ask me. Some things are better left settled, but some things aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's probably a good time to sign off, and we'll come back to the next episode.
We will.
Beautiful. I should have an outro, except I don't. Maybe I'll make one in post, but we'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, that's just you. There's me as well. Bye. We'll see you again in the next episode. Take care.
See ya.
Thank you for tuning in today, and thanks to each of you for being a member of the Hot Whoppers community. You can contact the podcast at saltyandthechamp@gmail.com. Salty was dressed by Kmart. Champ was dressed by Gasman. Music was written and performed by Zen Ivers, of Silverman Sound Studios. That is it for now. Don't forget to tune in again next week. I love you, goodbye.